Hi, it's Lynn, and I'm here today to talk about what is Eischens Yoga. When I introduce myself to someone and say that I teach yoga, they usually ask what kind, and I say, oh, Eischens Yoga, which they've never heard of, so they want to know what it is. And my first response is usually, it's an alignment-based practice, because it's brief, it's to the point. The problem is saying that it's an alignment-based practice, Eischens Yoga is about alignment, is kind of like saying mathematics is about adding. It's so much more than that. Now, I was lucky to work directly with Roger. Roger taught me from 1998 when I met him until his death in 2004. And he did not call this practice Eischens Yoga. He felt that was too egotistical, naming it after himself. But after his death, the collective of teachers who worked with him, we named it Eischens Yoga. And we did that because he had named it High Energy Yoga. And that High Energy Yoga name came from the world of high energy physics, wherein forgive my lack of physics knowledge, two molecules, I believe, come together, and in the pressure of meeting, they transform. This idea of transforming yourself through the work, through the resistance work that we do in the practice. Problem with high energy yoga was, as power yoga and hot yoga came along, people who wanted power yoga and hot yoga came to class and were kind of disappointed to be asked to see what they felt like in a pose. They wanted to move. And people who were looking for a more alignment-based practice, for lack of a better phrase, shied away from it because they thought it was power yoga and hot yoga. So by calling it Eischens Yoga, we removed any connection to anything other than Roger. And since people, if they didn't know Roger, they didn't know anything about it, they come in with an open mind. So back to this idea of alignment-based yoga and why that diminishes what it really is. So when I work with someone on alignment, it's more than just getting their toes lined up with their knees or taking their arm out to the side. It's getting the muscles to work in balance, to support the skeleton the way it's intended to stack up, so that you can breathe more fully, and in doing that, you live more fully. But it's more than just the physical body on the mat. It's also how you feel after a pose. When you do this pose, does this pose create tension in your body? Does this pose nourish you? Does this pose create ease and space and life in your body? Does this pose agitate you? Does this pose calm you? And traveling further than that, off the mat, as you become aware of what happens on the mat, maybe you've learned that you rotate and you hurt your knee every time you rotate at the hip. Now you might see the connections through your day where you also feed that rotation and continue to re-injure the knee. And then you step bigger than that. You discover that you're really competitive on the mat, or you're very tentative on the mat. And then you notice that's how you're approaching jobs or your relationships. So all this work, starting with alignment, is coming to a real level of deep self-awareness. So yeah, you come to an Eischens Yoga class and you're going to learn about alignment. Eischens Yoga is alignment yoga. Yep. And Eischens Yoga is a practice of self-awareness. And Eischens Yoga is a practice for living. For those of you who are discovering that you like this work and you'd like to go deeper into Eischens Yoga, find a teacher near you. Go to eischensyoga.com and see if there are any Eischens Yoga teachers in your area. If you find yourself in the Twin Cities, come take my classes and workshops, or contact me for a private individual session. If you really like this stuff, you can become an Eischens Yoga geek. Soon, we're going to have a t-shirt for that.